will be introduced by Coach Smith.
Esteemed faculty, proud parents, fellow students, we gather here on another momentous occasion to celebrate our soon-to-be graduating seniors. And real quick before we get going, let's go ahead and create a little positive vibe. Okay, let's hear you for all of our seniors, all of our seniors. So over the past 4 years, I've had the privilege of getting to know Reece, obviously coaching him in lacrosse, and his yes sir respect, his coachability, dedication, resilience, sportsmanship have not only contributed to success on our team, but have also inspired those around him. And as I say this, I can realize why he asked me to introduce him so I can stand up here and pump his tires. With that said, I'll keep this introduction brief and hit on a nugget or two, one of which came freshman year. Freshman year, there was this school off Poplar Lover Road that came over determined to shut us out. It did not happen because Reece Holbrook willed it not to happen. As a freshman, he traveled coast to coast against their starters, burying the biscuit and putting us on the board. It may not seem like that big of a deal to you given the final score, but what it was sheer determination to make sure that our team believed in the opportunity and the possibility to get on the board and make plays. Reece has continued to make plays on the field, continues to make plays on the court, and continues to make plays off the field as well. I'm super proud of Reece. I've seen Reece around. I've also seen Reece off campus. I've witnessed him at U of L football tailgates, U of L basketball games, and he's certainly furthered my impression of a student of the game. I've also seen the way young people look up to him around those times. I've also seen the intense spirit of his family and such, and quite the selfie that I was able to take with his father over a triumphant victory against Notre Dame earlier this fall. The only selfie that was taken that night, by the way. And I say that because it's this spirit, this love for the game, this unbridled enthusiasm that has been instilled in Reece, and it is that yes sir respect mentality. But I'd like to point to a note of thanks that he provided me after freshman year, and if I may read this real quick. To Coach Ryan Smith, thanks for being one of the greatest coaches I've ever had. You inspire me to get better every day on the field and even off the field. I look forward to this season and the ones to come in the future. Reece Holbrook, and in permanent marker, future state champs. From freshman to now, a Mark Twain quote, and talking with the great Simon Stern, who's seen him play over years, it's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. He's a dog. He's greatly valued. It's my privilege to introduce a young man who not only excels on the field, but also embodies the values of leadership, sportsmanship, and dedication, Reece Holbrook.
When you look at me, I'm not your typical collegiate student. I don't have aspirations of one day going off to prestigious college to challenge myself even more after high school, or spend my free time scouring the internet for interesting facts or videos that I can later quiz my friends on just to prove I'm smarter than them. Even this year, I made sure to take the minimum amount of classes as I could as a senior to make sure I had the easiest year possible for myself. I'm also proud to say that I'm a product of the all honors class system at Collegiate, an elite group of students that make up maybe 1% of the school who felt they enjoyed honors classes enough that they wanted to excel at them and were content with staying with them all 4 years. Instead of heading off to AP classes, they'd be given plentiful amounts of work that would take up all of their time outside of school and leave none for watching college football or NFL games or playing golf on the weekends as you can usually find me doing. In all seriousness though, making the transition to Collegiate my freshman year wasn't easy. In fact, it was very difficult to get adjusted to. As an 8th grader from a Catholic grade school, everyone knows that you either go to Trinity or St. X out of high school. But when I made the decision to be the only boy from my grade to not go to one of those high schools, I wasn't sure what I was getting myself into, but I knew I wanted to do this. Growing up in a Catholic grade school, it's almost an unwritten rule that athletics comes first, then when you have time for it, academics comes. I figured out very soon that this recipe was not so successful at Collegiate. In fact, it's the complete opposite of how the people here feel. I remember one of my first lunches in person at Collegiate. I sat with a shorter, curly-haired boy who had someone met from playing golf for Collegiate over the summer. When I sat down thinking we'd talk about sports or whatever other things freshmen in high school talked about, I was very wrong when the first words he muttered were, "So, what college are you going to, and what political party do you support?" I looked at him in dismay. Never in my life had someone asked me that question, nonetheless as a freshman in high school. If you haven't guessed yet, it was Ben Norton. With this being said, this is when I realized what kind of place I signed up for the next 4 years of my life. It was going to take time to get used to. Over my time at Collegiate, I've endured many ups and downs. I remember my first couple years at Collegiate, I hit roadblocks and struggled to find myself at times. I found myself trying to change and fit to the mold of other students in my grade. This was difficult for me because my whole life I'd never had a problem with being myself. Walking through the halls during that time, I surrounded myself with people who made a positive impact in my life, more than they probably realized. If I wasn't playing a sport for Collegiate, I felt as if I didn't bring anything to the table as a student here. I didn't want other students to see me like this though, because I'd always been the kid with a smile on his face and trying to cover up any bad things happening to him. Those who know me know that I don't open up so often, so expressing how I felt was very hard for me. I remember freshman year during my lunches, I would often shoot on the basketball goal outside to take my mind off things during the school day. I remember a certain time though, while I was about to head inside for my class, I saw a younger student in the lower school by himself with the football. Being the person I am, I hate seeing someone by themselves, so I went over and asked to throw with him. The next couple of days, I saw him outside and introduced myself to him, and he did the same, telling me his name was Noah and in the 5th grade. After about a week, I saw Noah, and he asked me if I could start babysitting him, and the rest is history. Noah Thompson and I have become so close over my 4 years at Collegiate, and I can confidently say he's like a younger brother to me. Having someone I could talk to about things was never something I realized I needed, and sharing experiences really helped me find myself when I was struggling freshman year. Babysitting Noah never felt like work. It's really crazy how life works sometimes. You never know how one small decision you make can lead to so much more, and I'll always be happy I went and said something to Noah that day. While I stand up here, you probably thought I would be the last person you would hear stand in front of an audience and open up about himself, but I think that's a testament to the collegiate community and how comfortable I feel when I'm here. I truly wouldn't want to be at any other high school in my years. I truly wouldn't want to be at any other high school. In my early years at Collegiate, I remember people asking me why I cared so much about sports, and I remember thinking to myself, sports is all I've got. But I can confidently say now, standing up here, I've contributed to the collegiate community more than I ever could have imagined. I've learned to embrace the negatives in my life, to really learn to appreciate the positives, even if they're small. From playing golf with Andrew and Ben on the weekends, or taking Jack home and listening to him rant about different music genres, I've realized just taking a step back in life and appreciating the small things will help you. I encourage everyone to take a step back and survey your life, and find ways that you make a positive impact or on someone else's life. Standing here now, I realize I still may not be your typical collegiate student, but I feel as if I've been molded into my own version, and standing before you today, I'm telling you it's possible for even those who feel like they're in the same situation as I was. Thank you.
Our second speaker today is Robert Hymes, and Robert will be introduced by Mr. Lerner.
Is it Robbie, Robert, or Bobbert? Or do we go with plain old Rob? I'm excited and a little shocked to introduce Robert Hymes to you on this delightful morning. Now let me explain why I'm a little surprised that he chose me to introduce him on this milestone of a day. In class, I'm tough on him. I will ask him to fix his posture, play a note higher, play a note lower, use more bow, use less bow, change this, do that, lead more, practice at home, practice at school, don't forget your instrument, don't write on your instrument, be on time for class, be on time for concerts, don't ever get upset with Miss Page, and I'm sure there are more. You can see why I was a little shocked and honored. 9th grade, Rob joined us 4 years ago when his first opportunity to play was in a Zoom orchestra. He hated our smart music platform that would grade him on every single rhythm and every pitch. And I quote, "I absolutely hate smart music." The comments I wrote on his report card in the early days reflected massive amounts of frustration and anxiety because he struggled to play the music the first time through. No eye contact between student and teacher, ever. 10th grade, Robbie receives added instruction, he takes some lessons, and gains confidence in class. Still struggling, but staying above water. Quote from me, "This year, Rob plays with confidence and a bit of swagger. Robbie's year in the program and added lessons have made him feel confident enough to ask if he could get a little closer to the front of the section. Robbie also spoke to me on his own volition often this quarter. Last year, he would avoid eye contact. Now, he talks to me. 11th grade. This year, Rob plays with confidence and a bit of swagger. Robbie's year in the 11th grade. Robbie starts badgering me to sit in the front. He realizes that he plays well and feels the orchestra would benefit if he sat closer to the front. I gave him chances, and he proved himself worthy. Current Rob. He has transformed himself into a successful musician and leader of his viola section. This year, he added Louisville Youth Orchestra to his diet of music, and he continues to show growth in his playing. Robbie continues to reach for the highest level of our growth mindset competency. Huh? 1, he knows the skills and understandings are developed through effort. 2, he can incorporate reflection as an essential component in learning. 3, he demonstrates leadership skills. Rob, enjoy this moment. Thank you.
Double-sided. Hello, everyone. I'm glad to be here with you all this morning. We're all here as a result of the various risks we have taken, big or small. I'm here to share some of the risks I have taken, what I've learned from them, and how I think you all can learn as well. Although I think of myself as being more closed off, I do not shy away from risks and opportunities. Maybe that is because I am also impulsive, leading me to say and do things I probably shouldn't. This is most often seen in class, where this impulse is a double-edged sword. On one hand, I am known in most of my classes for my active participation in class discussions and for my quick recall skills. But on the other hand, I'm just so good at answering questions that I even answer questions that haven't been asked. Unfortunately, this eagerness is often a cause for frustration. But in spite of the frustration it may sometimes cause, by taking risk, I've been able to learn more about who I am. I want to first acknowledge that the risks I take are not synonymous with recklessness by any means, although that is what it may sometimes look like. The risk I take just push me past my safe and comfortable boundary. Although I think whenever possible, I believe we should learn from the risks of others to avoid unnecessarily suffering from learning things the hard way. However, the problem with learning things from others is that it limits getting to know yourself. A lot, if not most of my self-discovery has come from my own risks I've taken which have not had optimal results. I've learned patience and restraint from the various struggles caused by taking risks. Let me share an example. I've learned that for me, it is better to give most things a 90% rather than 100%. We've all been told to try your best. When I was putting 100% in everything I did, I was overstretched. It was too much, but I took a risk. I pulled back to 90%. 90% has allowed me to try new hobbies, learn more new things, and naturally see what I'm drawn to. 100% commits you to 100% of the time. I can say that the risk of pulling back to 90% gave me the freedom needed for self-discovery. Although I might not seem focused, I have learned that I am dedicated. When I was around 3 years old, I was infatuated with a southwestern restaurant called Moe's. By infatuated, I mean ordering the same order and returning very, very frequently. At my peak, I was begging my parents to take me there twice a week. As you can imagine, my family did not have the same appreciation for Moe's as I did, as some detractors would call it a mid-restaurant and a worse Qdoba. But one day, I was absolutely craving my go-to cheesy quesadilla and lemonade. I needed my Moses fix, and I had to take matters into my own hands. I headed out to the restaurant myself, by foot. 3-year-old me with Moe's on my mind. I left my neighborhood, dramatically looked back, then started my journey to the promised land. Things looked good until I realized my fatal mistake. I was spotted by my neighbor because of my conspicuous red t-shirt. Rookie mistake. I tried running but was tripped and apprehended. I'd like to think I would have made it there and eaten, even I had absolutely no possible way to pay. But I know now it is very fortunate I was spotted wearing bright clothes, because had I not, I might not be giving this speech here today. Just as I did then, I have a determination and vision to reach my goals, even if it isn't always achievable or reasonable. Another thing I've learned from taking risks is that I'm a natural stoic. If something bothers me, I often try not to complain, even in the face of a medical emergency. When I was just 5 years old, I broke my leg on one of those grocery store shopping carts with the little front and the car to ride in. It took my parents a whole 3 days later to realize I had a broken leg because they saw me limping and decided to finally take me to the doctor. During those days, I have not cried or made any complaints. As I've gotten older, I've not changed much in that aspect. Relatively recently, I've had a similar unfortunate experience on my winter break field trip 3 years ago to see my sister in Reno, Nevada. We took advantage of the weather and mountains and got some lift tickets. Now, as a professional snowboarder who snowboards like twice a year, my maximum difficulty that I can handle is a blue square. For those of you who don't snowboard or ski, it's roughly an intermediate level trail. While trails with green circles are the easiest trails. When I went snowboarding that break, I spent most of my day warming up on some of the green circle trails, and I even went on this one blue square. Not really used to a full day of shredding, I was feeling pretty tired. We had only spent a few hours at the mountain, and my sister was not ready to leave. She insisted on a trail with an awesome view, but by the time I got to the lift, I saw there was a black diamond, an advanced trail. Now, I wish I could tell you all that I broke my arm on a black diamond, but truthfully, I didn't. We instead took a different route down that was a blue square, but just because it's easier doesn't mean it was risk-free. At first, the trail we went down was pretty straightforward, but as I began to slow down to make a right, all of a sudden my board just slipped and my left arm slammed into the ground. I did not know if I had broken my arm, but I waited several minutes in complete agony, and unfortunately for me, it did not improve. Yes, so at this point, I tried to signal to my sister I needed a medic, but she just stood there trying to get me to walk it off and to finish the remainder of the trail. Eventually, I was able to get a ski patroller to take me down what I personally call the sled of shame, which in my opinion was scarier than the injury itself. From the base, we confirmed that I had a humerus fracture, but there is very little humor about it because, unlucky for me, the very next day, I had my flight home. Now, from what happens next, I can say not to take meds on an empty stomach because roughly 40 minutes into the first flight, the 2 hydrocodones I had from that morning caused me to violently throw up. Although the risks here are a bit more ambiguous than the first story, I've learned from these not just resilience, but also self-advocacy and speaking up for my needs. Overall, I can say that collegiate has done its job very well for, no, hold on. Now I would like to leave you all with a few brief takeaways from the other risks I have learned. 1, don't allow yourself to be defined or limited by your environment. Going back to what I said earlier, even if you have a specific hobby, always be ready to try new ones and to expand outside of your group. 2, if I can do the speech, so can you. This one explains itself, but what I'd recommend for all of you all who are yet to do your speech is to outline your goals, think about the funny stories you had when you were younger, and to be ahead of the deadlines. 3, be grateful, because there are many things you can't control, and to be honest, me being here today can only partially be explained by my own decisions, when there are many factors that I cannot control that led me here. When I chose to go to collegiate, all the way back in 2020, I had very little idea of what kind of decision I was making, and I was overwhelmed. Overall, I can say that collegiate has done its job very well for a college prep school, as I couldn't be more prepared to leave this place. I am an optimist. I have hope for my future, and so should you all. Although I've had a fair share of struggles and stressful moments in the school, I can be glad to look back on the various faculty and students who have been incredibly supportive to the various risks I have taken. By taking risks, you open yourself up to learn more about yourself and the world. Now I'd like to finish off the speech by thanking everyone, including parents, classmates, teammates, friends, family, and God for the last 4 years in addition to what I still have left. May you all take some risk and enjoy the rest of your day.